Hello and welcome back to Soupy Storytime. Yes, that's what we're going with. I just need to make that intro for the next one. But today's Soupy Storytime is continuing the story of Manawydan, Rhiannon, Pryderi and Cigfa, a fabulous foursome who found themselves trapped in a sort of a misty shadow version of the kingdom of Dyfed, where everyone had disappeared. They then travelled to England and became nomadic traders, and wherever they went, they out-traded everyone. They made better quality goods, shoes, shields, saddles, this kind of thing, and local tradesmen just wanted to kill them, so they'd have to go on the run. And eventually they went back to Dyfed and spent I think a month there hunting in the forests, until one day Pryderi and his hounds chased a wild boar into a castle that had not previously been there, and then they disappeared. As ever, I'm reading from Tales from the Mabinogion, written by Gwyn Thomas and Kevin Crosley Holland in this instance, Kevin Crosley Holland being an absolute legend, and illustrated by the fabulous Margaret Jones. So if you're interested in this book, that is what you need if you want to find it. But anyway, Manawydan returned to camp, to the court, as it's called in this story, and reported to Rhiannon that Pryderi and his hounds had gone missing. And, well, she was determined to find answers. And with that, out she went. She went in the direction of the fort, as Manawydan had described it. Rhiannon saw the gate to the fort open, and in she went. As soon as she came there, she saw Pryderi holding on to the cauldron, and came to him. "Oh, my lord," she said, "what are you doing?" And Rhiannon grasped the cauldron, like Pryderi. As soon as she did so, her hands stuck fast to it, her feet stuck fast to the marble slab below, so that she could not utter a word. And then, as soon as it was night, there was a great noise and whooshing that surrounded them. And mist fell, and the fort vanished, with them inside it. So Rhiannon and Pryderi are gone. When Cigfa, Pryderi's wife, saw that no one was in the court, the camp, but herself and Manawydan, she began to weep, as if she were about to die. Then Manawydan looked at her. "Indeed," he said, "you're mistaken if you're weeping because you're afraid of me. As God's your witness, you've never seen a more faithful friend than I. Don't be afraid," he said. "Indeed, you'll have my friendship while we are in this trouble and misery together." "May God repay you," she said. "I knew I could trust you." And then, because of this, the young woman became far more spirited and jolly, and far more confident. "Indeed, my dear friend," said Manawydan, "this is not a proper place for us to stay. We've lost our hounds and our partners, and cannot find food. We'll make for England. It's much easier to find food there." "Gladly, my lord," said Cigfa, and they travelled together towards England. "My lord," she said, "whatever craft do you mean to practice in England? Make sure it's worthy of your station." "I shall take up no craft other than that of the shoemaker, as I did before," said Manawydan. "My lord," she said, "that is not a suitable craft for so skilled and accomplished a man as you." "That's the one I'm going to practice, though," he said, and Manawydan began to practice his craft, and made his work of the finest cordwain he could find in the town. If you remember, in the previous part of the story, he and Pryderi were buying leather from Spain to make the best possible shoes. So he's continuing in that vein. And as he and Pryderi had done before, in the other place, he began to make gold buckles for the shoes, until the work of all the shoemakers in the town looked shabby and skimpy by comparison. And while any sort of shoe was to be had from him, no one would buy anything from anyone else. Manawydan spent a year in this way, until the shoemakers were jealous and envious of him, and until warnings and whisperings reached him that they had agreed again to kill him. "My lord," said Cigva, "why should we endure at the hands of these bondsmen?" She's very like her husband in that sense. Pryderi was all about the bondsmen, wasn't he, last time? "No," he said, "we'll go to Dyfed in spite of all this." So they set out for Dyfed once more, so back home. And what Manawydan did was to carry a measure of wheat with him. And he made for Arberth and remained there. Nothing was more pleasant to his eyes than to see Arberth, the land where a year before he and Pryderi and Rhiannon had gone hunting and fishing. When Manawydan began to accustom himself to catching fish and hunting animals there, and after a while began to till the land, and after that to sow a field, and then a second, and then a third, the wheat showed up through the earth splendidly, and Manawydan's 3 fields flourished equally well, so that no one had ever seen finer wheat. Is there nothing this guy can't do? He makes amazing shoes and shields and saddles, and now can just grow the finest wheat that anyone's ever seen. Crikey. And thus they passed the year. That's 2 years now since Rhiannon and Pryderi disappeared. One season after the other. Harvest time came, and he went to look at one of his fields. It was ripe. "I'll come and reap it tomorrow," he said, and he returned to Arberth that night. Next day at dawn, Manawydan set out to reap the field, and when he arrived there was nothing but bare stalks there. Every ear of wheat had been snapped off, every stalk was broken, and the ears of wheat that had been carried off, leaving the stalks there completely bare. So not only was it harvested, it was also plundered, I guess. Everything had been taken away. He wondered greatly at this, and went to look at another field. The wheat there was fine and ripe. "Indeed," he said, "I'll come and reap this tomorrow." On the following day, Manawydan came intent on reaping the second field, but when he reached it, there was nothing but bare stalks to be found. "O Lord God," he said, "who is bent upon ruining me? Ah, I know. He who began my ruin is going to finish his work, and it's he who has ruined this land as well as ruining me." Manawydan came to look at the third field. When he did so, no one had ever seen finer wheat, and it was fine and ripe. "Shame upon me," he said, "if I do not keep watch tonight. Whatever stole the other wheat will come to steal this wheat too, and I shall find out what it is." Manawydan took his weapons and prepared to keep watch over the field. He told all of this to Cigva. "Yes," she said, what's in your mind?" "I'll keep watch over the field tonight," he said, and off he went to watch. And at midnight, as he was keeping watch in this way, there was the greatest noise in the world. Manawydan looked, and there was an enormous horde of mice. It was impossible to reckon their number or quantity, but Manawydan was still none the wiser until the mice made for his field, and every mouse climbed a stalk. Bent under its weight, they broke the ear of wheat off each stalk and made off with them, leaving the stalk behind. And it did not seem as if they were a single stalk without a mouse on it. The entire field had been harvested by these mice, and the mice were carrying away the wheat. Then, in wrath and anger, Manawydan rushed in amongst the mice, and he could no more keep his eye on a single mouse than one gnat or bird in the air. But he could see one mouse that was so heavy that he imagined it could not move quickly. He chased it and caught it. He put it in his glove and tied the mouth of the glove with a string to keep it inside, and then made for camp. Manawydan arrived at camp, where Cigva was kindling the fire, and he hung the glove by its string on a peg. "What's in there, my lord?" asked Cigva. "A thief," he said, "and I found it stealing from me." Well, from us, I suppose, actually. They are working together, aren't they, surely? "What kind of thief, my lord? Could you put in your glove?" she asked. "Here's the whole story," he said, and he told her how the fields had been destroyed and ruined, and how the mice had come to the last field while he was keeping watch there. "And then one of them was heavy," he said, "so I caught it, and that's the one in the glove. And I'll hang it tomorrow." I think these two have been isolated for too long, haven't they? They're missing their company. I'll hang it tomorrow, and as God as my witness, if I'd caught all of them, I'd have hanged them all. Good use of the word hanged, by the way. Not hung, hanged. That is correct when you're stringing something up. My lord, she said, that's not surprising, and yet it's scarcely proper to see a man of your rank and dignity hanging a creature like that. If you were to do right, you wouldn't harm the creature but let it go. Shame upon me, he said. I would hang them all if only I could catch them. And the one that I caught, I will hang. Fine, my lord, she said. I've no reason at all to help that creature except to save you from getting a bad name. Manawydan, the mouse hanger. Do as you will, my lord. If I knew any reason in the world why you should want to help that creature, he said, I would follow your advice. But since I know of no such reason, my lady, I intend to destroy it. Do that gladly, she said. And then Manawydan made for the throne of Ardberth, a stone circle nearby, and he took the mouse with him. He thrust 2 forked sticks into the highest part of the mound, and as he did so he could see a scholar coming towards him wearing a poor, threadbare set of old clothes. And it was 7 years since Manawydan had seen either man nor beast in Dyfed, apart from his friends. My lord, said the scholar, good day to you. Good prosper you, and you are welcome, said Manawydan, and then he asked, Where do you come from, scholar? I come from England, my lord. I've been singing there, he replied. And why do you ask, my lord? He inquired. Before I saw you, I had not seen anyone here, he said, for 7 years, apart from myself and my 3 companions, who are now separated. Indeed, my lord, said he, I'm making my way through this kingdom to my own country. And what kind of work are you doing, my lord? Hanging a thief, said Manawydan, that I caught stealing from me. What thief, my lord? He asked. I see nothing but a creature in your hand, a creature like a mouse, and it ill becomes a man of your rank and dignity to have anything to do with a creature like that. Let it go. I won't, as God is my witness, he said. I caught it stealing, and I shall deal with it according to the law of thieves, or for thieves. I shall hang it. My lord, he said, rather than see a nobleman such as yourself stoop to such work, I'll give you this pound. I earned it from begging. If you release the creature. No, I won't. As God is my witness, I will not sell it. Do as you will, my lord, said he. If it were not so shameful to see a man of your rank and dignity bothering with a creature like that, it would not concern me. And away went the scholar. As Manawydan was placing the cross beam in the forks of a tiny scaffold he was building, a priest came towards him on a fine horse. My lord, good day to you, he said. Good prosper to you, said Manawydan. Give me your blessing. May God bless you, said the priest. And what kind of work are you doing here, my lord? I'm hanging a thief I caught stealing from me, he answered. What thief, my lord? Asked the priest. A creature, he said, in the form of a mouse. It took from me, it stole from me, and I shall give it death in return. The death of a thief. My lord, rather than see yourself bothering with that creature, I'll buy it from you, said the priest. Let it go. I swear to God, said Manawydan, I will not sell it or set it free. It's true, my lord, that it's worthless, said the priest, but rather than see you sully yourself with this creature, I'll give you 3 pounds to let it go. As God is my witness, said Manawydan, I want nothing except what it deserves, to be hanged. Very well, my lord, do as you will, and away went the priest. And Manawydan put the string of the noose around the neck of the mouse, and as he was lifting it, saw an approaching bishop's retinue and baggage, and the bishop himself was coming towards him. Manawydan stayed his hand. My lord bishop, he said, give me your blessing. May God bless you, he said. What kind of work are you doing? I'm hanging a thief, said Manawydan, I caught stealing from me. Is that not a mouse, said the bishop, that I see in your hand? Yes, said Manawydan, a thief. Well, said the bishop, since I've arrived, as this creature is about to be destroyed, I will buy it from you. I'll give you £7 for it. Rather than see a nobleman such as yourself destroy so useless a creature, let it go, and you will have the money. No, I will not, said Manawydan. With God as my witness, he said. Since you won't let it go for that sum, said the bishop, I'll give you £24 in cash, now. Just let it go. No, I won't, said Manawydan. I swear to God, not for even double that amount, he said. Since you won't let it go for that sum, said the bishop, I'll give you as many horses as you can see in this meadow, together with 7 packs carried by 7 horses. No, said Manawydan, I will not settle. With God as my witness, he said. Since you do not want that, said the bishop, name your price for the release of the mouse. I shall, said Manawydan. The release of Rhiannon and Pryderi. You can have that, said the bishop. No, said Manawydan. I won't settle for that, with God as my witness. What do you want? The removal of the spell that has enchanted the 7 regions of Dyfed and hidden my friends from me, said Manawydan. You can have that too, said the bishop, if you release the mouse. No, said Manawydan, I won't, with God as my witness. I must know, who is this mouse? She is my wife, said the bishop, and if she were not my wife, I would not want to free her. For what purpose did she come to me? Asked Manawydan. To steal, said the bishop. I am Llwyd, son of Cilcoed, and it is I who cast a spell on the 7 regions of Dyfed. I cast a spell to avenge the wrong done to my friend Gwawl, son of Clyd, and I took vengeance on Pryderi because Badger in the Bag was being played with Gwawl, son of Clyd. It was Pwyll, king of the Otherworld, who unwisely did that in the court of Dyfed the Old One. And when they heard you were living in Pwyll's realm, my soldiers came to me and asked to be changed into mice to destroy your fields of wheat. On the first night it was only my soldiers who came to your fields. They came the second night too, and it was they who destroyed the first 2 fields. On the third night my wife and the ladies of the court came to me and asked me to change them into mice too. And I did that. And my wife was pregnant. And were she not pregnant, you would not have caught her. But since things did not turn out like that, she was caught. I'll give you Rhiannon and Pryderi, and I'll rid Dyfed of this spell and enchantment. So long as now that I've told you who she is, you release her to me. No, I won't, said Manawydan, with God as my witness. What do you want? He asked. This, said Manawydan, is what I want, that there will be no spell on the 7 regions of Dyfed, and no spell will ever again be cast upon them. You can have that, he said, but let her go. No, I won't, said Manawydan, with God as my witness. What do you want? He asked. This, said Manawydan, is what I want, that vengeance will never be taken on Pryderi or Rhiannon or on me because of all of this. You can have that, said the bishop. And indeed, it is good that you have made this demand, he said. Had you not done so, great harm would have come upon you indeed. Yes, said Manawydan, that is why I made it. Now release my wife. No, I won't, said Manawydan, with God as my witness, until I see Pryderi and Rhiannon free and at my side. And at that, Pryderi and Rhiannon appeared. Manawydan got up to meet them, and they sat down together. "So, good sir," said the bishop, "release my wife for me now, for you have been granted everything that you demanded." And Manawydan finally set her free, and Llwyd, son of Cilcoed, struck her with his magic wand and changed her back into the most beautiful young woman that anyone had ever seen. There's lots of extremes in this story. You know, the best wheat, most beautiful women, the best shoes. "Look at all the land around you," said Llwyd, "and you'll see all the houses and all the dwellings as they were at their best. And your people have been restored to you, and the curse is lifted." And then Manawydan stood up and looked. And when he looked, he could see the whole kingdom, with people living in it, complete with all its herds and houses. And that is how this branch of the Mabinogi ends. So, it got a bit complicated there at the end, quite amusing, but also it's referencing other events in other branches of the Mabinogi. So, Llwyd ap Cilcoed, son of Cilcoed, is attempting to avenge an ill done to his friend Pwyll, son of Clyd, or ap Clyd, in the first branch of the Mabinogion. That's the story of Prince Pwyll of Dyfed. I'll link to that at the end of this video and also in the video description below if you want to hear that story. So he does this by enacting revenge on the son of Pwyll, Pryderi, whose retinue at the time included his wife, Cigfa, his friend, Manawydan, and I guess his mother and Manawydan's wife, Rhiannon. So yeah, it's all going on in Dyfed, isn't it? And I just love the repetition there. I love the no, no, actually, I want more, and also the way that this powerful magical being presents himself as a bishop of the church. I find that interesting as well. I wonder if that's I mean, presumably it's original to the original text of this story, but as with texts such as, for example, Beowulf, it's clear that these stories have passed through the hands of medieval people who could write, and often those people were also religious people. So I wonder whether there was another entity, another version of authority, rather, that that Llwyd ap Cilcoed presented himself as originally to Manawydan as he was preparing a miniature scaffold to hang the mouse up on the throne of Ardberth. What a story! What a completely fantastic tale, and the sort of thing that you know that will amuse, delight, enchant, and confuse, I think, in equal measure. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Next time, we'll see what happens, I guess, in these tales. But it's going to be hard to top hanging a mouse, I think, for stealing wheat. The finest wheat ever grown. Until next time, though, do take care. Bye-bye. Consider supporting Archaeosoup on Patreon for as little as $1 per month. Link available in video description. Thank you.